Welcome to the live cap. It's Wednesday, January the 6th. We're talking Wildcard NFL week, her NFL Wildcard week. Let me say that right. With me in the studio from the Insiders Room, my co-host as always, Nick Parsons is here. How's it going, Nick?
It's going great, Ellie. Cannot wait to get into Wild Card weekend. We got an extra game on each day this time around. So, yeah, looking forward to breaking down these Saturday games.
Saturday games. Yeah, we're just going to stick with the Saturdays. And then also here to help us along, another handicapper from Picks and Parlays. We've got Kurt Alexander with us today. How's it going, Kurt?
Oh, it's going great, Allie. Yeah, really excited about NFL Wild Card weekend. You know, Nick said the extra game. Can't get enough this year.
Let's go.
He's already gone, just like that.
He'll be back.
He always comes back. All right, so we're going to be talking the Colts at the Bills, the Rams at the Seahawks, and the Bucs at Washington. So, yeah, like you said, we've got 6 wild card games this week instead of just the 4. So, hey, a little extra bonus, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Colts at the Bills. The Bills are -6.5. They've been real hot this year, and the total's at 51. So what can you tell me about this one?
Well, it's going to be an interesting game. I think these are two really good teams playing at Ralph Wilson Stadium, of course. Indianapolis, 11-5. They beat the Jaguars by 14 on Sunday over their final 2 games of the regular season. Though the Colts, they lost to the Steelers 28-24. And then they beat the Jags 28-14. And in that win over Jacksonville on Sunday, it was Jonathan Taylor, the running back. He had a huge game, 30 carries, 253 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And so I don't think it's going to be any big surprise that Indy's going to be leaning heavily on its run game here. But it does have a really great quarterback who I think has performed better than most thought he would this year. Buffalo's been great, though. They finished 13-3, and they've come in on a 6-game win streak. So that's 6 games. Let's look at those 6 games carefully here. The Bills, they've taken out the Chargers, the 49ers, the Steelers, when the Steelers were really struggling, the Broncos and the Patriots and the Dolphins. So I would argue that none of these teams are, a murderer's row there, except the Steelers. But that was at the point where Pittsburgh was really struggling. But yeah, Josh Allen, he's been fantastic. And if Buffalo is going to win, he's going to be pivotal in this game. He had 224 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception in the win against Miami on Sunday. So, yeah, Buffalo scored 38 or more points in each of these last 3 games as well. But Indy's, it's posted some good offensive numbers, too, over the last month. And its defense, it's going to be one of the best the Bills have seen all year, guys. I know Buffalo's been covering left and right. I know the Bills are at home. But this Colts team, I think it's really good. It's not going to roll over. It's comparable in all 3 phases of the game. I haven't made anything official, guys, but right now I'm leaning towards grabbing the points here. I'm really feeling the Colts here, guys.
I like that because honestly, in all the group chats and all the, things that I read from Picks and Parlay in the, our followers on Facebook and YouTube and whatnot, everybody's on the Bills. That's what I'm trying to say. Everybody is on the Bills. And that's a problem for me when everybody is on a team. That makes me a little bit nervous. So, you might have something with this here. Love a good contrarian play. What do you think about it, Kurt?
I went with my numbers and I did it a few times and it just has Buffalo just winning this game. I want to go with, I haven't made a play either, but I want to go with Indy. I'm a value better. I like to bet the dog. And as far as finding an argument, Nick made so many good points, but yeah, who have the Bills really played in the last 6 weeks? And you look at that, and I'll even go back to that Indy game against Pittsburgh. I'm not sure if you have heard this story or read what was happening, but Indy was controlling that game. They were pretty much beating the Steelers. And in the second half, Ben Roethlisberger started calling the plays himself.
Wow.
Completely off the sheet. Nothing was Juju Smith-Schuster said they didn't even practice these plays during the week. What happened was the Colts defense was calling out the offensive plays on the field. So they knew exactly what the Steelers were running. So this defense has really stepped up in the last few games. The Colts are playing much better, but that game, that Steeler game, it's a tale of two halves. Basically, Big Ben started calling his own plays from 2016, maybe even before that, and he was able to pick apart this Colts defense that wasn't ready for that. So I think that game's a little misleading. Even when Buffalo played against Pittsburgh, maybe Buffalo knew what Pittsburgh was calling. Maybe that was just the tape on Pittsburgh for a few weeks where teams were able to figure out what the offensive coordinator was calling. But both these teams didn't really play anybody down the stretch. I'm going to end up going with the Colts and the points, basically because I like their defense more. And I've liked it all
season. Yeah, you talked about it all season.
Yeah, I definitely think, I mean, they were holding teams to 25, even though Buffalo put up all those points, but they didn't put them up against anybody that would be able to stop them. The Colts are a quality team. They're a quality defense. Their coaching staff, up and down this organization, this is a quality team. This is going to be a tough game, and we're just overreacting from what we see Buffalo do every week. Oh, they put up 56 against Miami, and they had backups in, and well, now it's one game, you know, and against a quality team, there are no more cupcakes left on the schedule. So let's see what happens. I'd have to take the points. I don't think that there's a touchdown difference between the Colts and the Bills.
So our friend Noah Williams and Picks and Parlays View Crew, if you're watching, give us a like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and drop your comments into the comment box. Get in the conversation with us, be part of the team, and let us know who you like. So Noah Williams is saying, who has Indy played, though? And then he follows with, Indy's one of the worst defenses against passes, 20-plus yards, Buffalo #1 in downfield completions over 20 yards.
That's an interesting stat. I think that but as I say, I think we're going to see a lot of Jonathan Taylor here from Indy. One thing about Buffalo last year, its success was largely due to its defense. And now that's not the case this year whatsoever. Buffalo has struggled a lot on the defensive side of the ball this year. It's shown some promise here and there. But yeah, I think that that's a weakness for sure that Indianapolis can exploit. And that is one area without question that I think Indy has an advantage over Buffalo, despite Noah's observation there about the 20-plus yards downfield completions there. And that's one of the Indy's weak points. But still, I think that Indy is going to get the upper hand here in the defensive department. So, yeah, as I say, I know that Kurt is also a big he really likes teams that run the ball here. And so I think, with Indy and Taylor here, I think it's a good matchup really for this Indy offense.
He says Jonathan Taylor scares him. I took a teaser Buffalo as a pick. Seems like Joey likes the Colts going over. Phil likes the Colts going over. This is me too, Doug. My thing with the Colts is the Phillip Rivers factor. Can't win the big game. So yeah, that's the only thing that really shies me away from the Colts is Phillip Rivers. And I'm on the side with you guys. I get it. Like I said in the beginning, it's like everyone's two on the Bills for me to get on the Bills. So what was I going to say? But Rivers is like that part of the equation. So do you think, is this his year? Like, how long has he been in the league? 47 years or something? Crying out loud.
Yeah, no doubt. As I say, I'm not a big Rivers fan either. But I truly didn't think that he was going to do as well as he has this year. One thing I would suggest, though, that for sure that if you're going to bet Indy is to try to get at least that 7, obviously, because there are some 7s out there, 6.5, 7. So you definitely want to be grabbing that 7.
And also, I'll say, with in-play opportunities, like I saw this often last week. For example, me personally, when the Bears went up 7-0 against the Packers, I was able to get the Packers at a pick.
Wow.
It was
exactly.
It was the first quarter of the game, and it's 7-0. The Packers haven't even had the ball, and it was. So also look for the overreaction with everybody on the Bills like this. if the Bills score that first touchdown,
Exactly.
look for that 13 or that at least that 10.5 with Indy.
Or even a field goal, and then exactly.
Yeah. So if you're scared of that 7, definitely get a better value in play.
Yeah, Kurt and I talk
Good
about this
call.
all the time. And Nick, I know you're a big in player too, that like sometimes there are games that I don't even see any reason that I need to bet them before they start. Because the whole name of our game is find the best number. Is it 5? Is it 5.5? Is it 6.5? Is it 7? And that little hook matters. Well, now what if my 6.5 turns into 13? Well, now I've got the best number, so.
No, there's some of the guys in the Insiders Room Discord, they never bet a game beforehand. They will never do it. They will always wait until it starts.
My buddy Barry is like that. Yeah, my buddy Barry the same way. We'll never bet a game before it starts. And he did last week and lost. He was so mad about that. When do you
do a lot of
game? And I'm like, never. And sure enough.
I do a lot of mid-majors in basketball, so you can't bet them in play. So those are the ones that like you got to take them when you can take them, and maybe they'll give you a halftime line. So you can't always do it, but when you can, it's so freaking worth it. It's college basketball, man. There's that sweet spot, and I've told Kurt this 100 times. In the first quarter, and like the first 5 minutes of the first half, someone's gonna jump out to a lead. I don't care who it is, one or the other. You can get that favorite at plus points or blah blah blah. That I call it the sweet spot. But that's not a bad idea. He's gonna wait till game day because the weather in Buffalo is crazy.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the over with that. Be careful with that over. Like I said, the first thing that came to my mind is over. What's the next game I'm going to look at? But the more I kind of like look at this game, because I had the over right around 53. So it's right in that area. But weather in Buffalo, that's my neck of the woods right there. That's a whole different animal.
Well, we're coming to weather in my neck of the woods in this next game here.
All right, that's right. Yeah, Rams at the Seahawks. Seattle's -3.5. We got a total of 42.5. Picks and Parlays View Crew, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and let us know what you think about this game. What do you got on it, Nick? Oh, sorry, that was bad timing.
No worries. Well, obviously these two teams know each other intimately. But the Rams, you know what? They have not been great on the road. They've split their last 8 road games. Jared Goff, he's been more of a game manager this year. Last year, he had problems with interceptions, so they game planned it different for him this year. He has 20 touchdowns, though, and 13 interceptions, so not fantastic or anything. Goff has 1 or less touchdown passes in 6 of his last 8 games. The Los Angeles Rams ground game, it's averaging 126 yards per game. And defensively, that's where Los Angeles is. That's its strong point. It's allowing 18.5 points per game. Now, we just talked about how good the Rams defense was there and that we thought that was going to be a strong point there. But I'm not feeling that way in this Seahawks game at all. The Seahawks, they head into the playoffs here on a 4-game winning streak. And they've won 7 of their last 8 games at home. Russell Wilson, he has 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. And he has, a really good receiving core. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. And defensively, that's Seattle's weak point. They're allowing 23.2 points per game, but a reasonable 380 yards per contest. So I like Seattle here. These teams just played like 2 weeks ago, and Seattle stomped them. The home team's also won 7 of the last 10 meetings in this matchup. The home team's also covered in 11 of the last 16 meetings in this series. As I mentioned, the Rams, they have the defense to hang in this game, but you just never know what you're going to get from Goff and this offense this year. So, as I said, the Rams managed just 9 points on 20 first downs in that loss to Seattle there 2 weeks ago. So, guys, I am leaning heavily to Seattle on this one.
Yeah, I think I we talked a lot about Seattle's defense at the beginning of the season and how it was a wet paper bag, and they've really, really stepped it up quite a bit. Bill McDonald says, don't sleep on the Rams. They're due. We do talk about the law of due often. And Doug says Seattle and the over 27-21. Seattle gets the W. What do you have to say about it, Mr. Alexander?
27-21. That's that's up there. I don't see that happening. I see this being another low scoring game. I think that the Rams actually got worse since the last game a couple weeks ago, right? Jared Goff is hurt still.
Is Goff going to play?
That's the biggest question. So remember last week, Goff was out and we saw a line movement against Arizona. I didn't trust the line movement. Now we see a different line movement coming down, I guess, because Goff is going to play, or is it going to be Wolford? Not really sure, but yeah, there's nothing that's going to take me off Seattle unless Jamal Adams is not playing. Do we know about that? That's my selling point for this game. If we have Jamal Adams playing, then I'm on Seattle. That's the X factor. He's the guy that's going to put the pressure on the Rams quarterback, no matter who it is. He's the reason why the Seattle defense got fixed, as we say. That's the reason right there. He's the X factor. That's the guy. He got hurt last week against San Francisco. Don't know if he's going to be able to play this week. And that's basically what this game's going to come down to, like literally one player.
All right. So we're consensed on that. We're going with the Seahawks here.
Yeah, weather will be a factor for sure. It's been just terrible weather in the Pacific Northwest, just raining for weeks. It's going to be raining on Saturday, so weather will be a factor as well in the Pacific Northwest for sure.
Yeah, so we have a few factors in this.
An under here that feels very undery weather.
Yeah, I don't know how they'll get 13 more points in the last game. Because I think the total's at 42. Yeah, last game they got up to 29, and that was with a healthy quarterback. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going under as well in this one.
What did we decide on the total on the Bills game? I know the room was saying over. Did we go with over here, or did we just not say on Colts Bills?
We didn't really say on that one.
We didn't say. I was going to say over. One of those games that I'm
53. That's right.
Yeah. I like the over too. Look at these two quarterbacks in that game. Of course. Wait for the weather though before betting that. Wait for that's what I think we sort of decided. We were going to wait till to be cautious with that one because of the weather.
If you have wind in Buffalo, if you have wind affecting the game in Buffalo, not saying that it will affect Josh Allen, but it just might. Because this is a team that airs it out a lot. So all of a sudden you have to hand the ball off a little more. Ball's a little wet, slippery. The wind is taking it. We've seen that in Cleveland where the wind takes the ball and it goes wherever. So and that's where the Jonathan Taylor factor comes in. Do you have a running game, Buffalo, that you could count on if you can't air it out like you want to?
Fair enough. Real quick, we do have a promo code at the site. It's WILD, W-I-L-D. It saves you 20% at checkout. Nick Parsons and Kurt Alexander's premium plays are over at picksandparlays.net, along with like 30 other awesome handicappers and, all that jazz. So make sure you use the promo code WILD when you're checking that out. We do have one more game to go. Bucs at Washington. Bucs are -8.5. Total is 45. If you're watching, follow along. Let us know who you like in Bucs at Washington. What do you think, Kurt? Where are we going with this?
Okay. Hold on. I have it here somewhere. Yeah, I like the Bucs in this game. They haven't played anybody. Mind you, the last quarter of football, Tampa Bay has not played anybody. Atlanta twice. Detroit was in there, and they just rolled over the opponents that were on the schedule. What I don't like about Tampa Bay is they're still not running the ball. That's been my issue with them. You still have Tom Brady back there. He's still 43 I do love the run game. He's still 43 years old. And you have two, what I would think are productive backs, especially when you use them together. Leonard Fournette was the man a few years ago, and he's gone to Tampa Bay and is at the end of the bench. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's in there for blocking. I don't know what Tampa Bay's game plan is, but it's not to run the ball, and that's what really scares me with this Bucs team moving forward in the playoffs. They will get past Washington. Washington is on the same level of the teams that they've been playing. So they're going to look good, and everybody's going to say Brady, and everything's going to be great for Bucs fans. But you're playing Washington, you're playing Atlanta twice, you're playing Detroit. Soon you will be playing Green Bay's and New Orleans. So enjoy these wins. Enjoy the win against Washington. I have Tampa Bay winning this game by double digits.
All right. What do you say, Nick? What do you say?
Well, I think this is going to be the one game where Kurt and I disagree.
That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, the Bucs. I mean, they're really good. They come in 4 straight wins. Tom Brady, he has 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I was talking about how I thought Phillip Rivers did better than I thought. I think Tom Brady has probably done a little bit better than I thought he would in Tampa as well to this point. And Tampa's defense, it's good. It has a lot of really big names in it. Devin White, Levante David, Carlton Davis, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaquille Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh. It's got a lot of really good football players on the defensive side. It's a really complete team. Obviously, they got a good coach. But this Washington football team, obviously, it's 7-9. It won the NFC East. It earned the number 4 seed as a result. Alex Smith, I mean, he's come back and he's looked good at times and poor in others. He has 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So I get Tampa Bay being favored. It's on the 4-game winning streak. It has the better record than Washington, and who barely got in, obviously. But my argument here is Washington's actually won 5 of its last 7 games. Washington football team's strength is on the defensive side. Its numbers are actually really comparable to Tampa's. And so I think Tampa's going to win this game. I think Tampa's the better team. But yeah, I just think that this is a lot of points to be giving up. And despite all of their experience and all the big names that are on the team, this group is still sort of in uncharted territories as a group together. So I just think that this is a lot of points. I think it's going to be a little bit of a squeaker. And so I'm seeing it 10.5 points. I think that's a lot. And so I'm going to grab those points.
10.5. Wow.
Yeah, we're at like 8.5. I saw some 9s out there, but I
was talking about 7.5. Yeah, but I had a feeling it was going to get bet up that way. I saw that happening.
Let me just double check that. I could be a little bit behind on my update on those Hawks there. Sorry. No, yeah, it's 8.5. 8.5.
Okay.
So yeah, I still like the 8.5.
I was going to say I am with the wrong betting syndicate.
I was going to grab that 10.5. By the way, I was going to grab that 10.5.
Okay.
Where I got to go because it's not Bill Hill.
What do you think about a total there, though, Kurt, in this one?
Yeah. What do we got?
What's the weather going to be like? Because that's another game where I kind of question the weather playing in Washington. But I like this game under. I really do. I don't see Washington getting into a lot of shootouts because of their quarterback play. Like you said, Alex Smith just doesn't put up the numbers. So it's going to be hard and their defense. They hang their hat on their defense, and if they do want to stay in this game, they're going to have to slow this game down, run the ball.
Exactly, and win it by field position and
grind out game.
The first mistake,
Yeah, grind it out game, where everything is field position and, getting off the field on third downs and things like that. Because Tampa will get frustrated. And when they get frustrated, they run the ball even less. So, then they become predictable.
I'm with you definitely on that one. Exactly. If Washington has any hope, that's exactly how they're going to have to win. And so with them committed to that sort of style of play, I would lean to the under as well, and also taking into account the weather. So,
yes.
Alfredo says that the Washington Q is hurt.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
He played last week hurt. He was hurt last week. So
who is he? Who's their quarterback? Why don't I know this? Who?
Alex Smith.
He had all those surgeries. Comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not super excited about him, clearly. He doesn't rile me up at all. I'm sorry, Alex.
He
But
had a bad game last week and they still won. So it's like he's had bad games and they're winning. I don't know. It might just be Alex Smith magic, not quite as catchy as Fitz magic.
No, it's really not. I feel like there is a name out there, like a something Smith, you know.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll get there, Alex. We'll get there eventually.
We'll call him Mr. Smith if they win this game.
Right.
There we go.
Mr. Brady.
My only thing with the Bucs is that, like, it's like we were talking about with the Colts and the Bills, that everybody's going to be on Brady here. But then my like contrarian conspiracy brain kicks in, and I'm like, well, if they're going to rig a game, they're going to rig this one so Brady can go forward. Like, if there is a game on the card to get rigged, it'd be this one. So don't be freaking out when all your plays go crazy, because I think that stuff happens. But that's just me. Okay, so that just about wraps us up for the day. Anything else we need to throw out there? Anything you guys need to mention?
I am going to mention that what we saw this year with the NFC East, with the teams being this as bad as they are, like, I understand we're trying to bet Washington here because they get to play because they were 7-9. They were still 7-9. Would you, if this wasn't the playoffs, you know, would you really look at Washington, say this was week 10? Would you really give Washington a chance?
Hey, well, do you remember the only other time that a team, or in recent memory, that got into the playoffs there with a losing record? That was Seattle. Remember, that was the Beastquake Rumble, and then they went on to beat the Saints, and so I mean, I'm not saying Lightning's going to strike twice here, but yeah, if you want to draw a comparison, that would be the most recent.
I just remember, the Giants, players watching the game saying, yeah, we're going to huddle around the TV and watch the Washington,
right? That's true.
The Washington Philly game. And I'm like, great. So you ought to be the 7-9 team that we have to watch next week, right? we have to choose one of these bad teams from the NFC East, and everybody's like, no, I want to get in. Why? You're going to be right. Like,
And I think it's funny that, like, the Bills, who are like, what, a 7-1 at home team, like, the Bills record is fantastic, and you're wild carding your way in here. Like, that just didn't really make sense.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like, that'd be a gimme, you know, but I get it's a divisional thing and all that.
You're in at 7-9. But honestly, you know, do we see like it wasn't like a run that they made. It was by default. Well, you know, you're the better 7-9 team, so yeah, you're in. You get to play. And the other 7-9 teams are like, oh, we really wanted to get in. Not if you're 7-9, you didn't. Don't try to get in now. Like, oh, we really want to get in. Like, all season, you guys have played terrible. And you have a chance to get in after you get a chance to be rewarded after a horrible season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying the NFC East getting in. Like, they're actually.
I don't believe in rewarding bad behavior. It's like
you know how some teams
you don't reward bad.
I don't think that's on Washington's wall. Like, hey, it's Super Bowl or bust this year. You know, some teams, that's our motivation. We're here.
It is a bit flawed, that whole system, isn't it? But I guess the division leaders got to get in there. So
yeah. All right, well, that about wraps us up. I'm going to see you two tomorrow because we're going to do Total Chaos NBA, the first one ever. And I know a lot of people in the View crew and in the chats are excited about it because a lot of people are having trouble with the NBA this season. It seems like you're really on it or you're really off it. And so hopefully you guys are really on it tomorrow. Picks and Parlay View crew, if you guys haven't seen Total Chaos, it's this awesome show that we do where two handicappers go head to head. I give them 6 or 7 games and they give us their play on the over or the under. Winner stays, loser goes home and moves to a different sport, really. Big week for Total Chaos, guys. Very ambitious. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're doing college basketball with Dan Kaiser, the professor, versus Craig Trapp. Then, like I said, tomorrow, Nick and Kurt will do NBA Total Chaos. Yeah. Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, I think is wait, no, Kurt, you're not doing NBA Total Chaos. Sean Higgs is doing it with Nick.
I'm doing Total Chaos
NHL next week.
Yes. You're doing NHL with Nick on Tuesday, and then Chip Chirimbus and Kurt do NFL Friday. I know that was confusing, and that's why you have to ring the bell for notifications, because then it'll just pop up and let you know. Hey, our show's on, come watch. And then, of course, Nick, I'll see you with Dan Kaiser on Friday for the live cap. I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll talk about the NFL Sunday games. How about that?
Perfect.
Usually it's our college football day, but we ain't got that no more.
Looking forward to that and seeing what Dan has to say for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll do some NFL Sunday wildcard games, and we'll see you guys on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live cap. Check out Total Chaos tonight. Bye, guys. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
See ya.